Hello, hello, my beautiful Saggies. How are you, my beautiful ones? So, this is a little bit late, but because of the energies that are going to be over the 3 and 6 months, I still wanted to do this for everyone. So, this is going to be about the solar and lunar eclipse. I thought I'd do something different. I've brought a little bit of astrology in here. I am not an astrologer, although I've had astrology in my life forever. I want to say, like, well, forever, but really studying it probably about, I don't know, anywhere between 15 and 25 years. It could have been 25 years. Yeah. So, but I'm not an astrologer. So, um, what I've done is I'm going to talk about the houses that it's going to affect you, what the lunar and solar eclipse is. Um, I want to say this because there are some people that said, you're talking too fast and I can't understand. When I'm channeling, I can't help the way that I talk. I can't help my cadence. My cadence, it is what it is because I'm receiving all this energy. So that's why it's on video. That's why you can rewind and watch it again. So, um, so welcome, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including tarot, astrology, hypnotherapy, all of that and more to help you on your path. And now the author of my upcoming book series, Concepts Create Reality. So my gorgeous ones, let's talk a little bit about what the lunar eclipse is, and then we'll talk a little bit about the solar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse came on August 7th, but the energy, well, let me back up. Eclipses in themselves are about a reboot. So it's like taking you to that 0 point energy, right? So it's like turning off your laptop or turning off your phone and then just rebooting it. So you have like this burst of energy. You go to 0 point and it's like clipping what's no longer serving you, or it can just move you into that new direction, right? So that's what eclipses are about. We have these great eclipses that just happened, and some of it. So the solar eclipse was prominent in America, so that was over our land, and it is said that the closer that it is, or where it's prominent at, has a lot of effect on the land, the people, all of that. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have an effect on the rest of the world. It's just saying that it's prominent there. So, in the lunar eclipse that we had on August 7th, lunar eclipses are about completion, about letting go, and about, yeah, starting, so letting go of what no longer serves you. But you come through to completion with those things, right? And the one that we had on August 7th, this lunar eclipse is going to be affecting you for 2 to 3 months, but most prominently in the first 35 days, right? So for you guys, the lunar eclipse was in your third house. So that's where it's going to be affecting you. So what I've done is I've asked your position in that, what you would be working through, the advice from spirit, and then the outcome. Now, the solar eclipse is about gains, new beginnings. And we have the new moon on the solar eclipse. So that was like a new moon on steroids. The solar eclipse has the energy effects for about 6 months, some people up to a year. So, and we are in Leo. So it was a Leo solar eclipse. And Leo is about, gaining their resources to protect and to sustain their kingdom. So Leos are about, I'm going to get mine. Leos are about hard work and really discovering and doing new things, but they're going to receive resources. So with this being in your solar eclipse, Leo and the Leo energy, we're all about gaining what it is that our heart desire, because Leo comes from their heart. So if it's your heart, if it's what you're truly wanting, not what everybody else is wanting, but what you've truly wanted to create, what you've truly wanted to manifest in your world, that's what you'll be, that's that energy. So you can't go wrong when you come from your heart, right? So for you guys, it's really interesting. It's going to be in your ninth house. So you're going to have gains in these things. You're going to come to these sort of resolutions. And then when I see pentacles, I see gains, right? So like material stuff. Not just because the ninth house is about the spiritual stuff, but, and the inner work, but I see some gains. Okay. So let's get back to your lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse, well, let me say this. With the lunar eclipse starting on August 7th, and then the solar eclipse on August 21st, you'll be feeling this prominently for about 45 days. And you'll be feeling this prominently for about 35 days. So there's going to be like a 35 day period where you're just going like back and forth and back and forth. Completion, gains, completion, beginnings, right? So, and then they're affecting these two houses. So, and it kind of depends on the degrees in which your sign is, or the degrees, because this can go for your moon, your ascending, your Venus, like it can go for any of that, but it just depends on the degree to which your sign is in, or you're in that sign, right? So like for me, I'm a Saggy moon, but I only have 8 degrees in Sagittarius. So I'm 26 or 29, I think it's 29.23, or 29.23 degrees in Aquarius, but I have, and that's my rising, but I have 7 degrees in Gemini. So though my sun sign is Gemini, I'm really Aquarius, and everybody kind of sees me as Aquarius. But I have that Saggy moon, so the moon is about taking in the information and then processing it, giving it out, right? So that's kind of how the lower mind, the mental mind. So back to you. So in this 35 days, you're going to be sort of going back and forth and back and forth. Completion, and depending on you is what will depend, is what the outcome will be. So the more you release, the more you gain. The more you release, the more you gain, because we only have so much energy in our auric field. Like in your higher self, in your whole self, yes, you have unlimited bounds and you're huge, right? But here in this resonance of density and material and physical, we only have so much energy that we're going to keep, right? Or be able to flow through us. So it kind of depends on what you're letting go of to be able to gain the new. So in your solar eclipse, you'll be feeling this for the next 35 days. Some of you 3 months, some of you 2 months. It kind of depends. In your third house. So what's the third house about? So the third house is, and I'm going to start doing astrology, like teaching you the basics, but it's going to be on my website. It's not going to be on YouTube. So you're welcome to go there when I start doing that. I'll let everybody know. Because the houses are really, really fascinating, actually. They're really fascinating. And we have each house within us, right? And so depending on the planets we have there and the things we have there, it's how we express ourselves, how we come into this world and want to do things, right? So in your third house, the third house is about your everyday things, your daily routine, managing, organizing, your administrative stuff, the environment, your everyday environment. It could be about your siblings too. And so with it being in your third house and that's your everyday thing, this is really important for you. Like this is your everyday daily routine, the things that you do, the way that you're doing things, how all that's happening. Well, it's sort of giving you, with this lunar eclipse, a reboot, right? So, and with it being a lunar, it's about completing some tasks that you have been working on, and now we're in retrograde too. So we don't want to start anything brand new, but if you had these other projects in development, this is the time to sort of tweak and receive and sort of think about things, about doing it in a different way. And you can work on them, but I wouldn't start a new project in retrograde. I mean, you can do anything, but starting a new project in retrograde is going to cause a lot of hassle for you. So to make it easier, just work on the projects that you have been. I wouldn't start anything new. And even if you have so this is new ideas. So you can have new ideas, new things, new ideas and new ways of doing things, but I wouldn't actually, so if you're thinking about a new business, now's the time to plan it out, not to actually go get the licenses and go do all of that for that, right? So in your third house in the lunar eclipse, it's about completion. completion. So we're going to be completing some things in this third house. We're going to be completing some things in our daily activity, our daily routine, our daily, maybe with some siblings, we're going to come to some, agreements, some things that are going to be finishing up. Okay. And this is really interesting. So what I did was I asked Spirit, what is the position that you're in that you'll be working on in this third house? What is the thing that you're working through, the thing that you're trying to complete, the understanding that you're trying to have? What's your position? And so we got the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups, first of all, is intuition, right? But the Queen of Cups is a very, very beautiful queen. But see the cup she holds, and this is the Sacred Circle Tarot. I'll have the link below if you want to purchase it. I have an affiliate. So the Queen of Cups is this beautiful, beautiful queen who has been through a lot emotionally, right? But she has this talent, and this talent is she's not necessarily like what you would consider the most beautiful person, but people see her that way because she has this way of being able to, because she's water, so she has this way of being able to navigate through emotions, right? And with that, she is able to, so she sort of mastered that, right? So what she can do is when she appears before people, she can actually mirror them. She can mirror them by being exactly what they want, exactly what they're needing, exactly, because she has that quality about her. So they find her very alluring, very sensual, very sexual, very like whatever it is that they're looking for, she becomes that. And it's not like she tries to do it, it's just an automatic thing that she does because she's got this intuition, she's got this psyche, and she's been to the depths of those psyche, of her psyche, of the psyche, and she knows how to navigate in that, in emotions and all of that. So I kind of feel like with this lunar eclipse, this is where you're at, sort of reflecting those things around you, right? Reflecting those things. But what they ask you with the Queen of Cups is to understand that you've come through a lot, and you're sort of understanding that this is sort of what life is about, your everyday life, the people around you. So so in this lunar eclipse in this house, I feel like you'll sort of be looking around and really understanding the people around you, the things around you, the situations around you, and understanding how to go from there. That's where I think the Queen of Cups is. That's your position. You have these abilities, this intuition, this psychic, these abilities that you can use. And though, because you're Sagittarius, you want to use them for the bigger picture, but they're saying you can use those in your everyday life, right? So I kind of feel like you'll be working through that and understanding that. So the advice here is the development card. And I kind of feel like some of you are already here. You'll just sort of be taking it back and looking, right? And this is like bringing it to your everyday routine. And so the development card of the Four of Wands is this pinwheel. And so when this card appears, their advice is that this is a time where you've completed this understanding and this knowledge of the world that you're actually creating, the people that are around you, and that you do have choices, and that you can choose whether to allow people to treat you this way or stand up and say, no, they're not going to treat me this way, right? Or these situations that come along to you, they haven't just shown up in your life like out of nowhere. Those are things that you're wanting to experience and then wanting to grow from and then wanting to take your power back, right? That's like in your daily life with your siblings, at work, your daily routine, your family around you. Like that's sort of where you've come from or where you're understanding in the solar eclipse. This is what you'll be doing over the next 3 months. But the development card, this is a time where they're saying that you're understanding that, and it's a time of, well, let's just say this, it's a better time for you. So they want you to know when you get to this spot, this is a time to relax, to understand that your philosophies and that that your values have been put into place, and so now you can relax in knowing that you've done hard work. Now that so you've got some good things coming, you've got some celebration in all of that. So if you've worked in that, you've got good celebration coming in that. You have those, you're reaping the rewards of that, right? Now you're not finished because it's a 4, but it is a time for a break. It is a time to sort of see, oh wow, this really did work. I said what I needed to say, and I'm not allowing people to treat me this way, or I did this particular project and I worked very hard and now I'm reaping the benefits of that. And that's what they want you to know with this card. And this is all of what you'll be working on in the 3rd house. Now, the result or the outcome is the 8 of Cups, okay? So the 8 of Cups is about abandonment, but not someone abandoning you. It's your abandonment. So what you'll realize is that with the 8 of Cups is that sometimes we have to let go of things and let go of people because they've run their course. There is no more that you can do in that situation. There is nothing else. If you have come at it from several ways, if you have understood, if you have really engaged in it and not run away from it, but really engaged in it, and there's nothing else that you can do, then sometimes it is time to just let it lie, because there's no more that you can do. And when you do that, you have this like better, you feel better actually. So you have this lighter feeling of, wow, I can actually start my life again. I can do these things. Like, I feel better. I'm not so weighed down by trying to control a situation, or weighed down by trying to figure out what they're going to do, or what that's going to do, or what, what my finances are going to do, or what my loved ones are going to do, or what my coworkers are going to do, or what my job's going to do. Like, it comes from a good place with that. And that's what the abandonment card is. That's what the 8 of Cups is. Like, really understanding that sometimes you've done everything that you can do, and you gotta let it go. And you, Saggies, my beautiful sweet Saggies, are extremely powerful spiritual people, and I don't think people realize that about you. Like, there's several signs that people don't realize that about. But you have this innate way of going and discovering the unknown and bringing it known, right? That's what you do. And so, but sometimes in that, you get so caught up in, I know it's going to work this way. No, I know it is because I saw it, because I can do it, because people have done it. Like, I know it's going to work this way, right? And with that, you become attached. You can get attached to an idea, to a project, to family, to like a situation that you're like, it's got to be done this way, right? Because I said it was going to be done, because I know, right? But sometimes it's not supposed to be that way. Sometimes, and not because you can't do it, because you can do anything, but it's because you're co-creating, and both of you, or both you in the situation, or both you and that person, needed to come to an understanding of the experiences that you had with it, right? But when there's nothing more that you can do, you have to let it go sometimes. It's just time to let it lie. It's not like you're shutting it off. You're just sort of relaxing the energy and saying, you know what, there's no more I can do with the situation, but I can move here. This is what I want to do next. This is what I want to do. And you feel better. Your heart feels better. And remember, Leo's moving with the heart. So it's time for you to move with your heart, and not be so frightened that just because in the past somebody's done something to you, just because in the past someone's done something to you doesn't mean that someone else is going to come in and do the same thing. Because if they try, you're going to know quickly, because you've had that experience before. So you have to trust yourself more, okay? Just trust your heart. You can trust your mind. Now trust your heart. Okay? So I think that's what you'll be going through in the lunar eclipse over the 3 months. And it's not an easy thing to do because for like the other signs that I've done, a lot of it is like physical stuff that they're gaining and losing. But you guys, it's more spiritual. You guys, it's more inner work. So, but guess what? When you clear that inner work and you come through that inner work, all of a sudden that physical stuff just manifests itself because you've already said you wanted that. You're just trying to get to a resonance of that. Okay? Hope that makes sense. So, let's move on to your solar eclipse. So again, the solar eclipse is going to be for the next 6 months. Some people, it's going to be up to a year. It just kind of depends on what your sign is. It kind of depends on your chart. So the ninth house, this is going to be for the ninth house. So the ninth house is all about your goals, your future visions, your visions of your plan, your future plans for the vision that you see. Sorry. And it's about the perception that you have, right? It's about new horizons. And oddly enough, Saggies, this house is ruled by you. So I think it's ruled by you. I'm pretty sure. So you're working in this house and you're used to working in this house. So this house is going to give you a lot of gains here. It's good. It's like this house is about finding your place in the world. That's what this house is about. But it's about you seeing it at a different perspective so that you can understand where it is that you want to be placed in this world, right? So it's also about the unknown in foreign countries. So travel could be involved here. It's about higher positions. And it could be about your mother or your father, mostly your father, but it could be about your mother or your father. And it has to do with legal documents as well. Okay. So there's a lot that can come from this house for you. And it is in the solar eclipse. So it's in gains for me. So that means gaining all this stuff, right? Gaining, but I don't feel, but see, you understand this, Saggy. It's not just the gaining the material, it's gaining the mental and gaining the spiritual and gaining the consciousness, right? It's like expansion and all. That's what this house is about, right? And then the physical manifestations are just those things that come because of that, right? Because we live here on this earth and we have these laws of the universe. So, that being said, your position, I asked, was, so I asked, what's your position? What will you be gaining? What is this thing that you have to be doing in this house? I apologize for the noise outside. And you got the Four of Swords, which is really, really interesting. Because what does that say? It says rest. Because you guys have been working so hard over the last, like I say intently 6 months, but really over the last year. But y'all are so quiet about it. You're not loud and let people know that they don't realize how much work you have done. Because you're not one to like go out and boast, I've been working so hard and poor me and blah, blah, blah. That's not you, right? You've just been quietly doing it, right? So, I am so sorry about the noise outside. So they're saying your position is a resting position. Now, remember, there are some things that you're going to let go of. And so in this solar eclipse, there are some things that you had put down because, you were focusing on other things. You can only, you're going to see something through when you really want to, right? Because you're a fire sign. And so sometimes you can go in all different directions and then you understand, okay, well, I can only do 3. So I'm going to do these 3, right? And so there are some things that you had been resting. So, so I see this 2 ways and this is different for different signs, like different Sages, different degrees. So one way I see is that they're saying, again, once you've done this, your position in this house is sort of relaxing and putting some things down and resting because you're going to be receiving information or downloads or epiphanies. So You need to be in this state so that you can receive that, because you've already done as much as you can do for some of you. Now, for others of you, I see it this way. There are some things that you're really trying to push through, and they're saying it's not that time yet. It's going to be that time, but there are a few things that you have to relax the energy for, so you have to rest it for a minute. So I talk about this when I don't publicly teach how to manifest. I teach, privately, but I probably will start doing a lot of that stuff. Although I've talked a little bit about things of not this world, and one of my videos is like, or two actually, are getting like trying to get banned. So, what I say when you're manifesting, when I teach people to manifest, to help you get the concept, is once you've clicked in and once you know what that is, the best thing to do, if the fastest way to get it, is to completely relax that energy. And that means put your mind somewhere else. Go think about something else. Go do something else, right? Go take your actions and do something else, right? And that's like the Piscean way to do it, or the Aquarian way to do it. Like, you have to like completely let off of that thought process, because you've already told the universe what you want, and then they're trying to give it to you immediately. Like, the universe is trying to give it to you immediately, but if your thought keeps doing that and it's telling it one thing, the energy's too tight. So you have to relax the energy. And so relaxing the energy could mean going and doing something completely different that gets you excited and invigorated and all of that, because that's fast energy, right? So that's kind of what I'm feeling here, is that they're saying there's some things that you've already put into place, and so you sort of need to like relax it. You need to rest it. You need to wait for the information to come in, because you've already done and told us what it is that you're wanting and trying to create, right? So what's interesting is that's sort of where I see that you're at. Like, there's some things, for some of you, there's some things that you really need to set down because you need to focus on this other stuff. And for others of you, they're saying relax that energy and put it down for a little bit, okay? Because we want you to get centered. That's what they're wanting. Because the advice is, for this, is the shaman in this house, right? For your gains. And the shaman is a really interesting card. So and it's a 9. So the shaman is someone who is sort of a loner. Sound familiar? Is sort of a loner, but he's so connected to not just this earth, but the universal consciousness, the bigger expansion, the spiritual side, if you will. And when they bring the shaman up, they're asking you to go to a place, because with society and the way that you were brought up and the things that have happened in your life, you have these things that you've had to learn to sort of repress your abilities, right? Because for whatever reasons, societal reasons. And they're saying, with this card, we're asking you to come back to that place where you have your gifts, where all your abilities are. But it's not easy to get back to that place. You have to unlearn some things, right? I don't think that's a fair word, unlearn. Let's just say you have to put in I don't like to work that way. So you have to put in another habit, okay? So you have a habit of doing things one way because that's how you were brought up, because that's sort of your belief. And again, this is about your belief. This is your perception, this 9th house. So they're saying there are these other talents and these other gifts and these other hidden realms that you really know how to work in, that you maybe haven't worked in them because of your habit to do it one way, right? Or this way, or the way that you were taught, or the way that you see it. But they're trying to get you to a place to see it in a different way with your talents and gifts and abilities that you brought with you, that you haven't developed. And this is interesting because development is this card here that I just saw. So they're asking you in this time, in this next 6 months, to really come to center, understand what your abilities are, and develop in those, right? Because the way that you think it's supposed to be is not. They're going to be giving you information when you do this. Okay, I know this sounds a little weird, but they're going to be giving you information, because I feel like that for a lot of Saggies. Like they're wanting you to come to your center and get very, very still and develop these things so that they could download or give you this information, because what it gets you is the 10 of coins, the 10 of discs. The 10 of discs is all about tradition. Okay, so the 10 of discs has many meanings. So this thing that you're wanting, these things that you're wanting, you have the answer to it. You've just been going about it, I don't want to say the wrong way, I want to say the harder way. And they're saying you, before you came here, wanted to do it both practically and spiritually. So like both with this realm and the hidden realms. Does that make sense? So before we let you just do it with the hidden realm, or before we let you just do it with all work and in the physical in this realm, your growth, your perception is to see it, to be able to bring it forth in both ways, right? So with using both of those things, the practicality. So like the way that I have concepts create reality. I bring the science, the metaphysical, and the spiritual together, right? So having all of those is the way that you move through. Does that make sense? I know this is getting pretty deep, but this is what I'm getting in this house. So with these projects or these things or this thing that you wanted, they're asking you to come to center because there was a different way that you really wanted to do it. They're not trying to hold it from you. They're just saying there was a way that you wanted to do it differently, right? And because it's going to get you this. The 10 of discs is about tradition. It's about other people's money, like inheritances and lottery wins and like things like that that come from other people's money, but your hard work, right? So you've worked. So you've worked and they've worked. And so you get to reap the benefits of that from your ancestry, right? So again, this card to me also, spiritually speaking, it says to go back to the ancestry, to go back to the lineage, to go back to the ancient way, right? That's what this card tells me. So, but because it's a pentacles, because it's a disc, to me, it's physical. So I feel like in this, when you do this, you get these big rewards that you have been trying to attain. I do feel like that. So that's like because I've got to keep it general, because this isn't a personal reading, but although Spirit's talking to each one of you and they kind of do that, you'll get a message. But I feel like when you do this, the gains are so much bigger, because you're thinking it's this much gain and they're saying you have a whole lineage that you're going to gain from. So you have like all these rewards in the physical that maybe your lineage, maybe the lineage that came, the ancient ones or the ancestry that came before you, didn't reap those benefits. They left it in the bank for you to reap. Does that make sense? Because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that it's much bigger than you think. I'm seeing that you're going to be over the moon happy, because you were like, I was only asking for this and I got this, right? So I will end it there. I want to thank everyone for liking and sharing and subscribing and commenting. Thank you so much for making this channel what it is. We grew to 8,000 in a month, which is unheard of, especially in this genre. I am so blessed to know you, to be able to be allowed to be in your energy. So I will talk to you soon. Love you, love you, love you. Bye.